If you're watching this right now, I'm going to show you how you can secure your green card. If you have been a victim of marriage fraud, you could potentially still get your green card after going through that situation. I had a call today with someone who admitted to paying for a green card. They call it arrangee marriage, okay? This is definitely a crime and it could cost you permanently your green card. So if you're in that situation right now, there's a chance for you to withdraw the application. That's the first thing you're going to do. And then the next step is to figure out if you qualify for any other humanitarian options, because any marriage fraud finding, if you get denied for marriage fraud, you most likely will not be able to qualify for a green card at any point, because this is criminal. It becomes criminal at that point when you falsify information to get your immigration status, or when you actually just pay, you don't ever live with this person, you know it's not a real marriage, just to get your green card. So all of that, very serious. So during this live, we're going to talk about the 3 humanitarian options that are available for anyone who's a victim of marriage fraud, right? And I'm saying victim because you never know, sometimes within this marriage fraud schemes, there's some people who end up being recruited, right? And you could be forced into domestic servitude. So if you're in that category, listen up. So now, first things to consider in this situation, what stage is your application right now? What stage are you in this application process? You need to know if you've gone for an interview, or if you just put in the application and you haven't been called for an interview, because you still have the chance to actually withdraw your application without too many consequences. But if you already went for an interview and they've asked you questions about this, usually there's going to be more misrepresentation, because to cover up a lie, you're going to have more lies. I've seen this happen with clients that we're working with. So if you're at that stage where you already had an interview, then there's a whole different approach here, because now there's evidence of the marriage fraud. And if you're then put in removal proceedings, we'll talk about those other options there. So figure out what stage that you are in your process. All right, that's the first step. There may just be a confusion, a misunderstanding in your paperwork, like the call I had today with this client. Even though I ended up discovering that it was actually marriage fraud, right? There was a point in the conversation that I thought, well, if whoever prepared your application just used the wrong address or just the wrong names or whatever, that can easily be fixed, right? But then I figured out it was just a paid situation. So but if it was just a misunderstanding, you have to present strong evidence to show that maybe your spouse was even abusive and demanding for money, and there was the fact that you sent your spouse money does not always indicate marriage fraud. So you need strong evidence. And for this type of scenario, it's not a DIY situation. You definitely need legal expert to help you understand whether you've been a victim of abuse, of financial abuse in this scenario, so that you can still have a way out to get your green card. Okay. So once you've gone through this option, and this is really part of my 4-step method that I've used to help clients get their green card success throughout the past 5+ years. So if you are going through this 4-step method, the first step is obviously to figure out if you're eligible. Now that we've gone through step 1 and you're eligible, then we're going to apply for a humanitarian relief, because with humanitarian relief, you don't need to be married to actually apply for this, okay? Unless you have found love and everything has turned around. That's a whole different situation. But with humanitarian reliefs, for someone who's been a victim of fraud, you may be eligible for a U visa, okay? So that's one option for your green card journey to begin, because now you have to start afresh, because your marriage will be null and void. Everything will just be canceled. You have to file a divorce or maybe an annulment. It just depends on how long everything has been. And so if a U visa is an option, that will be great. From a U visa, you can get a green card. It takes a number of years, but that's great. But if it doesn't rise to the level of that fraud, you're not able to actually go through that route, there's also the T visa option, which is also a way for immigrants to get their green card. After 3 years of having the T visa approval, you can still get your green card. So keep that in mind and make sure you talk to an expert right away. My number is on the screen, so you can reach out to talk about your options if you've been a victim of marriage fraud, right? And for the final humanitarian relief that could be available to you is the asylum option, the asylum application. The asylum application is pretty common. Many people apply for asylum right at the border. Usually something you hear about on social media a lot compared to the T or the U visa. But asylum application, you have to qualify for, there's specific things you have to meet, qualify for the asylum, okay? It's either you have a political reason, you've been persecuted in your country because of your political beliefs or because of your religious beliefs or affiliations or because of your sexual orientation. There's a whole list of things. Okay, it's very specific. Right, so lots of people apply for asylum. They may not even know if they qualify. Don't ever rush to apply for any immigration relief without getting expert opinion about this. So that's gonna be my take on your options if you have been a victim of marriage fraud. Don't freak out. Sometimes it is just, it could be a thing where you said you were married to someone and you weren't, just to get a visa. That's another form of fraud and misrepresentation. So it's not the end of the road if you have experienced this type of stuff. Some of the agents or the notarious people who aren't lawyers end up filling out your application wrongly and causing you to face these issues in your green card application process. So don't freak out. Just reach out to me. I'll be glad to help you. I'll figure out a way to still get your green card after this experience. Okay? So that's it. Never lie. Don't conceal information. It's best to tell the truth, even though it's painful. Just hope that you can withdraw before they make a decision. Because when there's a decision, it is more difficult to actually get out of that. So if you're still in the early phases and you're watching this video right now, great. Just reach out to me. Let's switch everything over. Cancel that one, and you have a chance of starting over with a fresh life, meeting somebody else, doing something else. So don't carry on a situation that just doesn't make sense. Because definitely marriage fraud is a big deal. Okay. All right. So that's it for today. Thank you all for joining and for watching this video.